What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. This is Daniel, and today is going to be a unboxing video. Today is going to be out with the old, in with the new. Hopes and dreams were shattered with the Hifonics amp. Just didn't do what I was hoping. More on that later. Today's unboxing will be a CT Sounds 2000.1D. I just don't buy a lot of new car stereo equipment. A lot of my stuff I either trade or barter from friends, maybe online auctions, but just don't go out and buy stuff new. A lot of my stuff is older, but it's tried and true, it works, and a lot of my stuff I've just moved from car to car. I've had a few pieces of decent equipment I've been sitting on for the Trans Am that I did get installed, but one of the big things that was disappointing is my dream install was a Cerwin Vega 15-inch stroker from back in the day. Big Cerwin Vega fan since the 80s and 90s. More, I guess, more on that in other videos. But I've had Cerwin Vega strokers over the years, sold them, come and go. Just I've never had one installed properly. I've never built a proper box for one. I've never had a strong enough amp to properly run a Cerwin Vega stroker.
Stop it. Get some help.
Had bought this Hifonics, man, 2012, 2013, so long ago. Bought it from Sonics, and we'll get a little zoom in on the power here. Says it does 850 watts at 1 channel, 4 ohm, 1700 watts at 2 ohm. And thanks to a bunch of new friends on a couple Facebook Basshead forums, this amp doesn't even come close. It probably does half the rated power. It's probably pushing this 15, somewhere north of 500 watts, but definitely under 1,000 watts. You can just tell. There's a point where I guess either the amp is clipping or it's just not enough power to the sub. I know I'm not overpowering it with that amp. So the hope is that the CT Sounds 2000.1 will do the trick. Big fan of Williston Audio. Big D, Derek, he dynoed this amp and it pushes some crazy numbers. He did an unboxing of this back about 2 years ago. Maybe something's changed since then, I don't know. But why not? Let's do an unboxing. I'll just take a moment. He got, I think it was, I got it up on screen. He got 1,400 watts out of 2 ohms. My Cerwin Vega stroker is a dual 2 ohm, so I'm probably gonna run it 1 ohm. Derek dynoed this amp and got just over 2,000 watts. That's good enough for me. I've upgraded the electrical in this car. I've got proper wiring everywhere, but I don't want to go into that 3,000 range. 2,000's great. That's just the right amount for me, I think, for this speaker. The box I've got in the back is kind of shallow, so it's just the right amount for a 15. But you'll see. I'll pop the trunk here. You'll get a good look. Thought I'd also kind of give you guys a once over of the stereo setup that I got in the car. Like I said, a couple good pieces I've been sitting on for years. Finally got them in the car. It's just powering that 15 was lacking, and so we're going to fix that today. All right, so starting in the back, Cerwin Vega stroker, 15-inch. I think I mentioned it a moment ago. This is a dual voice coil, but it's a dual 2 ohm voice coil. These came in dual voice coil and single voice coil configurations. This one is a dual voice coil, and it is a 2 ohm voice coil each. So you can run this down to 1 ohm on the amp. Oh, I should mention it has been rebuilt. This was a rebuilt little spot there, but otherwise it's flawless. It's great. Hifonics amp up here just doesn't push it as much as it should. It pushes it, but just, I don't know, just not enough power. You can tell. This thing should just dance a lot more. And hopefully the new amp, hopefully CT Sounds will come through. Real quick walkthrough. I've got Alpine Type R's in the sail panels, which, you know, can't really see much here, but they're in there. I'll show you. They pretty much look like this, because, you know, I just got Type R stuff just laying around everywhere. Look just like this. These are actually the grills. These are E's. These will probably go in the Buick whenever I get to that. But yeah, Type R's. And then in the front dash, got Polk 400 DXIs. Real clean speaker for the size. Here they are up here. And there's a clean shot. You can see them a little bit peeping out there. But yeah, got them crossed over at a very high frequency. They're running very little, if not zero bass out of the 4-inch woofer. That 1-inch tweeter is a real nice tweeter. And so it's almost essentially just the front stage is tweeters. But with the 6x9s literally right next to your head, right here, you know, just not the best layout. Anyone who has these cars, the F-body Camaro Trans Am knows it's not the best layout, I guess, acoustically, but it works. And, you know, not much of a front stage, but it works for me. I like it. And again, like I said, with the equipment being passed down from friend to friend, that's my buddy Brad, his old Pioneer, forget the model number, but does the job. I'll go ahead and I'll turn on a little bumps here, copyright pending. Let me go ahead and turn on a little bumps here. You'll see a little bumpage of the woofer, but for what that comes through on the mic here, we'll see. All right, here we go. Unboxing. CT 2000.1D monoblock. Nice. Good looking. Mm-hmm. That is nice. Good looking. Don't know how much this unboxing will be different than Mr. Big D Derek, but like I said, his video was about 2 years old. So have they done anything different 2 years later? Let's find out. All right, so packaging, fantastic. All right, so padding is phenomenal. That's really good. Keeps this thing secure. I am blown away how small this is. Wow, okay. So for starters, very nice, attractive manual. It's got a couple models on there. Perhaps one day I'll own a few more CT amplifiers. I'll definitely have to go over this a little bit later. Some really good instructions on how to wire things up. That is good. Wow, nice. Couple stickers for CT sounds. Love it. Very nice. Thank you for your purchase. Join our Facebook group, CT Sounds Only. Cool. Definitely will be leaving them a review once we fire this up. And before we pull that out, what do we got over here? A couple screws, looks like for the bass knob. And we got a bass knob. That Hifonics I got, I like that bass knob. It also uses the telephone for us old people, like the telephone cord. I'm bummed I'm going to have to pull that out. I don't know if I can use that bass knob with this amp. That's probably frowned upon. Probably not something you want to do. You want to go with the dedicated bass knob that comes with the amp. Looks like we have a power light there. It might be interchangeable, but not going to take a chance. We'll do it the right way. This looks good. This looks similar to the unboxing Mr. Derek did, so excellent. And here it is. Wow. Let's open this up. Like I said, that other amplifier I'd been sitting on for years that Hifonics I've been sitting on for years. That was going to be the amp for the Stroker in the Trans Am, and just disappointed with that. So that was the last new amplifier I purchased back in 2012, 2013. It's been that long. So this is just, God, this is an attractive amp. You know, I've seen them on the videos, but in real life it is just clean. It is impressive how just what a small little tight package this is. It's beautiful. So for the camera, got your power, got your out to the sub. It is a mono block, so even though you've got two hookups, this is if you have dual voice coil. Anyone watching this will probably know that. I probably sound like a newbie, and that's all right. I'm an old bass head. Not trying to say I'm anything better than that. I am a little old school, so this new school stuff is just awesome. I love it. This is a nice package. I'm going to go sit this next to the other amp. Yeah, what a difference. Wow. CT Sounds is not even like a 2/3 the size width-wise. Yeah, that's nice. Just an attractive piece of hardware, man. I always liked the look of the Hifonics. In fact, they're very similar in, wow, they're very similar in their finish, fit and finish. You have this big plastic elbows. I don't know, big plastic ends on each side over there on the Hifonics. I don't think anything lights up with the CT Sounds, but that's all right. I did like the glowing HF of the Hifonics, but yeah, we'll get a look from the other side. All right, here we go on the other side of the car. And yes, obviously we'll get this hooked up, take out our wires, plug them in. Interesting, they're just on the opposite side, but that's easy. I loosely wired these in. I'm so bummed I screwed this amp down, as you should, and then now I'm gonna have to redo this. Don't make fun of me. This amp has been reworked a few times, simply because I originally tried to get maximum square footage. This did go up, right? And then the woofer was in the middle. And I just, what do they say? Measure twice, cut once. Yeah. So I had to rework the box, lower this, and then the amp was too high, was too close, so that's offset a little bit. Not a perfect carpenter, not the best box maker, but you know, I try to use the right hardware and screws and whatnot. And it comes out. It ends up working. Got a few compliments online that this was a decent install. Well, at least it looks decent in pictures, but anyhow, let's go ahead and pull the fuse up front, wire this up, and see what it sounds like. Always make sure you have your racing stick handy whenever you pop the hood on Trans Am. That is a must. So yeah, so you might notice this isn't one of those tune port injection motors. We got one of those LS motors in there. Okay, we're done. Well, with this part at least. Don't judge me. I think I want to go in and get new ferrets for these because the old amp, they went at an angle. It was weird. They went up and out. They went in and up. These are just straight on. So I need to get new proper fittings here. So we're gonna clean that up. And I don't like how these wires, they're just dropping little shards. I forget where I got these from, but they're thick ass wires. What are we running? 10 gauge to each coil. I don't know, maybe I need to up these since we got some real power. But yeah, leave little shards everywhere. So get some new ferrets for all these. We'll clean this up. Don't have the bass knob hooked up. It is a different plug. I thought it was like the typical telephone phono plug, whatever. Different size than what the Hifonics uses. So we'll do it right. We'll switch that out. For now, though, I think I'm going to throw the fuse back in the main run from the battery. I'm just going to fire it up right now just to see what it sounds like. See if we got more bass improvement than over the Hifonics. Obviously, the amp needs to be properly tuned, so I'm not going to bump it too hard. Just give it a little test tickle, and we'll go from there. Okay, does anyone else get jumpy doing this? Because I sure as heck do. Holy crap. I hate this part. All right, so amp is hooked up and turned on. Car stereo is on, and nice, cool, big blue LED there. I'm gonna go in and just kind of just lower these numbers. I'm gonna go in and kind of just lower these filters, the gain rather, the boost, make sure everything's at 0. It looks like everything is set from the factory at the lowest setting, but I just want to double check. The gain, I know, you got to properly set this. So I kind of do it old school, play it by ear, which if you ask any old bass heads, they'll do it. They'll tell you that's the way to go. I got a voltage meter. Maybe I'll do it, how they recommend. I know there's kind of a new way of doing it. But for now, this is just a test tickle. That bass knob of the old Hifonics is still here. It's too bad because I really liked it. So, oh well. And again, the wire, not compatible. So that's fine. We will take this out. We'll swap out the other. But for now, let's go in and let's turn the bass down to the lowest. I think I have it turned up high in the settings simply because we got a bass knob. Okay, bump the frequency to about 80. Let's turn the level down, I guess minus, just for now since we don't have a bass knob. Turn it up, let's see what we got. All right. All right, so it's I think the next day, and it's been raining like cats and dogs here. Crazy storm coming through. I wanted to take the car over to the mall or maybe in front of the Porsche dealership for some beauty shots, but it has just been the storm of the century. They say it never rains in California, but it's raining now.
This happened on the 101 freeway in Ventura yesterday morning. Drivers slowed down to pass a disabled vehicle on the right shoulder when a driver going much
out and crashing across several lanes of traffic on the 5 freeway in Castaic. Kind of looks like bumper cars out there. It was one vehicle after another. When people got out to see the damage, they had to
so got a little bumpage, had to charge the battery because I think I killed it, or it got low in voltage. You don't want to starve your amp of voltage, especially something like this powerful. So I had to start the car, open the garage. Anyhow, charged up the car a little bit, got a little bumps with the stroker flexing. Big difference. If you've ever, the only way I can compare it, like I realize this is a video, so there's only so much that's going to come across in the video. I try to think of it like it's just that headroom. There's just so much more headroom when you've got more wattage and more power running to a speaker. Horrible analogy. I think of like when you turn on your TV set and you play the feed, the music or the TV through the speakers of your TV set or the monitor, the little like 2-inch speakers, right? And then you turn on your home theater, maybe you run it through your stereo. You've got just that bigger sound. That's what this sounds like. That's what it feels like. Um, the other Hifonics amp, like it pushed the 15, but this just pushes it with so much more authority. It's like when you hook up a little 6-inch, like a little coaxial, front door speaker, but you try to run bass to it and you see it just trying to make that bass. That's what it feels like now with the 15. I've never been able to like push that 15 as well. Here's the old bass. I will say I like the bass knob on the Hifonics. It's metal. The knob was okay, the knob itself, but that was the old Hifonics. And I guess real quick shot. That's the mounted bass knob that came with the CT Sounds amp. So, but first impression, like a kid in a candy store, man. First impression of like real power finally in this car with this sub. I get why they call the Cerwin Vega Stroker a mid bass. I kind of looked it up. I've always been a fan of Cerwin Vega. Always been a fan of the Cerwin Vega Stroker. If you're old school car audio, you've seen, or if you didn't live through it, you've seen all the awards and whatnot that they've won over the years. And so I get, you can't compare technology that's 20, 30 years old to the new stuff now. Of course, the new subs you see now, the Scar Audios and the Sundowns with the huge surrounds on the edge. Those are just beefy monsters made for that ultra low bass. This Stroker, I get the mid bass testimony that people are saying. And I even did a little research and looked it up, and I get where that comes from. It's real strong on the lower end of the frequency, but it's not the sub bass. Anyhow, bass is so subjective, it's going to vary.
But you don't look like much to me.
Opinions vary.
But definitely happy the way this sound turned out really good. When it's not raining, I'll have to try to do a part 2 or a follow-up, maybe some beauty shots. I wanted to go to the mall parking lot and kind of sit it out and just do a walk around of the bass radiating. Bass is a lot louder with the tops off too, but in here it's like it hurts, like you can feel it. So really worried about that back window now that I'm pushing some real power. That back window is it's a non-defrost rear window, so you Camaro and Trans Am guys know it doesn't have the defrost lines in it, so it's somewhat sought after. It's original to this car, so don't want to ruin that. But anyhow, I guess that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for listening to me rant and talk forever. Hopefully this is somewhat entertaining. I'll insert some more beauty shots of the Cerwin Vega Stroker flexing a little bit. But that's going to do it. And I don't always ask for the likes and comments and subscribes. I figure people are going to do that on their own. If you're not a subscriber, at least give it a thumbs up. That helps the algorithm. If you'd be so kind. Otherwise, it's all good. Appreciate listening. And that's going to do it. Later.